Eclipse. Generally, it is I take it on the 6th session, but many of you have started configuring, so let's complete that and then we'll come back to our normal curriculum. Okay, so go to this URL. Okay, go to this URL. Go to cloud integration. Okay, download the. Hey, I'm audible now.
Yes, Anand, you are audible.
Thank you. So just download this one. Okay, which is correct for your 300 MB. 1 second. It's just to correct to yes. Sorry. So I am also downloading the Neon version. Generally, as of now, I am using the earlier version of Eclipse called March 2. So they have Eclipse is just now upgraded the newer version. So for those of you who has March 2 in their local system, it will also work. Else you can go with the Neon one. So I'm just starting the March 2 one. So this download, this will be a zip file. You just need to extract it. Okay, it would be 4 minutes extra. Just we will wait for 4 minutes and I will just show you the configuration in front of you, full configuration. Okay, what all things are required in configuring this. Okay, before having this, go to your control panel and check version of your Java. So go to your control panel. In the Java, check if it's 1.8 or not, latest version, 1.8, 1.7. Okay, these two are compatible. So go to this Java, control panel Java, view the version. So you will find it, the version is 1.8. For some of you, it might be possible that Java is not installed. Okay, so your Eclipse won't work. Okay, your Eclipse won't work. So first thing first, check if Java is there or not. Okay, and it is installed correctly or not on your system, the latest version. If not, go to the Java website, Java, download the JDK 1.8 or 1.7, whichever is compatible with your system. Then it's 1.8 itself, and then install that. So Java 8. So install it. Go to the and download the one which is compatible with your system. Okay, so whichever system is you, if you have the 64-bit or 32-bit, based on that, just install the Java. So for in my case, it's already there, so I don't need to download Java and install it. Okay, but primary thing, you need to have Java runtime present in your PC. Okay, just using it. Speed is used. One second. Okay. Anyway, just 2-3 minutes more, and then it will get downloaded. Okay. And you have selected the correct perspective for your Eclipse. Okay, so this is how it looks like. In the left hand side, you have the Node Explorer. Okay, something has gone. Yeah, so you have a Node Explorer here. Okay.
Hello, Sanath.
Yes, Sanath, we
Yes.
can't hear you.
Sanath, let me call Bharat. హలో భరత్ ఆయన చూడ అసలు లాగౌట్ అయిపోయినట్టుంది ఆయనది సనత్ది ఒకసారి ఫోన్ చేసి మాట్లాడాక
One second. Just got pause. It happens every time. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just showing from my Eclipse itself, the at present Eclipse which I have, which is same as that. Okay. So first of all, you have to go to your I need to open. Hey guys, please somebody from the team just keep their mic on so that it is evident that the call is on for me. I have to check each time here. Hello? Arvind, Pradeep, anyone can keep their mic on.
Yes, Anand.
Yeah, Shankar. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, thank you. So go to the once you have there, go to open into new workspace so that everything is understandable. And so this is how your Eclipse looks like, the initial screen. You will be having some welcome note, something like that. So just close this. Okay. Go to your help, click on install new softwares. Okay. Install new softwares. Okay. First thing, take the URL from the this portion. It's, HTTPS colon the same URL, but it's written /new. Wait, whatever. Okay, so I am taking this URL, but for my case, it won't be neo. It would be Mars. So I will be changing this. We'll be clicking on add, giving the name HCI. Will be providing the location this, changing Mars. Okay. You will see there would be one URL called this one, tools.hana.ondemand.com/Mars, and let this things come. Okay. Now in
Now it
the
is showing as a
list,
deprecated, man. See,
sorry,
now it is showing it as a deprecated. SAP Cloud
which one?
Integration to SAP SAP Cloud Platform Integration Tools. It is showing it as a deprecated here in this.
Yeah, so no
Mars.
problem. Okay. So
So we
I
need to
think that
use that one only we need to use.
yeah, we have to use this one. You have to use new only as of now, correct?
Yeah, deprecated.
Yes.
That's
For
so not useful now. You
mm,
cancel this and
no,
you try to download that completely.
sorry.
You cancel this and you try to download that, and on that only we will do that one exercise everything.
One second. For the meantime, it's just two steps from here. I will just select it. Okay, the duplicated one in this one. Generally, I select it and I click on finish. Okay, next, finish. There's no other steps involved apart from doing this. So you just need to select these uh, in cloud platform integration tool. Just ignore deprecated one as of now. Okay. Click next, next, and finish. So you will have, once you have this, your software is installed. It will be installed in foreground for you. Okay. Go to your Windows. Okay, and you will then check the option preferences. Here you will find one more option available called HANA Cloud Integration. Cloud integration, cloud platform integration option available. Okay. So here what you need to do, you need to provide the URL of your HCI tenant. Okay. If you don't have it, you can skip this um, step. Okay. Just for the reference in future, if you have the access of HCI, go to this operation server, provide the URL of your HCI, your HCI tenant, and provide the user ID password. So which should be the URL of HCI. This is the URL, and click this much part and click here, paste it. Okay. And the user ID passwords. As of now, I have already provided. Check the connection.
Something on the screen, you are not able to see it. It's just a blank.
Sorry?
I'm only seeing an editor, Eclipse editor on the screen. Nothing more than that. If you are sharing something or showing something, then we are missing it, I believe.
Is it the case with
Is there
everybody?
refresh? No, actually, same case with me. I've refreshed that one page, so I'm able to see now.
You're able to see now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're able to see.
I'm on the Eclipse screen. For those it's not working, just refresh their system. Just F5 it. It will automatically come. This is kind of a weird tool, the GoToMeeting. Sometimes it works, it's on purpose. Anyway, so just place the URL here, check the connection, click on the test connection, and it will say you will be getting a response that connection was successful. But it's also saying that the Eclipse client is older than the connected operation server. The operation server is nothing but your HCI tenant. Okay, so please update your Eclipse installation as you might experience compatibility software otherwise. Okay. Let me check if that Eclipse I have just downloaded is working. So folder. Just a second, okay? Just a second, guys. You will be able to see all the steps in front of you. So this is the first time I'm opening Neo version 2 Eclipse. And this is new for me also. Okay, this version.
I downloaded this version, Neon 7.
Sorry?
I downloaded Neon 0.2 only.
0.1.
0.2,
So,
0.2, the same one. The same one, yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Oh, let it open first of all. Open.
But I didn't get this extension file. I've
Sorry?
downloaded the same. I didn't get that extension file.
Is it so? We did the same, only those steps. We just went to this URL, download it
Yeah.
again from this.
Okay.
The zip file. You need to see the zip file. In that zip file, you will be having uh,
Yeah, I
exe
got
file.
the zip file, but I didn't get this Eclipse extension.
Mm, download it once again, and if not, we will see separately for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will see some projects, my already existing projects automatically populated because I am using the same workspace or same folder for that. So don't worry about that. Just go to your help. We will install the new plugins in your Eclipse for HCI. So add, just give some name. I will say, okay, but now see I out platform integration. Okay. You the URL from here. One, and you have the HANA Cloud Platform Integration Tool. It's not deprecated here. Click on Next.
It will take some time to
Might
install it.
take. Yep. So in the meantime, let me show you. Let it install. Okay. In the meantime, we will see how your HCI looks. Okay, on your web UI. So simultaneously, we will understand both the things. Okay. So I'm just opening this URL. Opening this URL. No, it would be way before going to URL. Okay. 1 second. Before also getting the URL, let's open an PPT where you will see how we get that URL. We get that URL. Okay. So as soon as you ask for the access of HCI to your SAP, you provide your user credentials or means your customer ID to SAP. Okay. You also specify which package you want to opt. Okay, you say that I want to opt for this standard package or the application package, which I yesterday showed you, means for how many GB you want to have, how many interfaces do you want to see, how many users. So based out of that, you opt for a particular package which meets your requirement. Okay. As soon as you get that, you are provided with mail. A mail is sent to the registered mail address of your client. Let's say if for my SAP, I am registered on this mail ID. So I will be with this mail, these two mails, primary with my for my HCI. So these two mails contain some information for HCI tenants. Okay. So what are this information? This information you can see side by side. There is um, there is information. Let me zoom it. This one, so that it's visible. So I'm just zooming in it. So you have the first of all, customer information, whoever the customer is, or in this case, it's SAP Customer Labs. It's an initial one. Okay. The customer information, the login information. Login information, it specifies which S user ID you have provided to access the HCI. So you provide that in your initial registration. So this is the HCI user ID. Then you have the HANA Cloud, HANAOnDemand.com, where you can configure and add new users to your HCI tenant. We will see that tomorrow. We will see how to add users to the HCI and HANA Cloud Platform Cockpit. Okay. You have the order which says which means what is the service number order. Okay, order details, and which tenant, which account is this? Is this a productive account or test run account? So in contrast with the on-premises system, your HCI has only two systems. Means you will be having a test system and a production system. So as soon as you ask for the access of HCI, you get two tenants for your you are provided with two tenants. One is your production tenant and other is your test tenant. Okay. So what is your production tenant? Production tenant, just like a productive environment, you can place your interfaces there, which would be attached to your productive on-premises system or productive cloud system. But your test tenant, you are provided with only one tenant which should work for your quality, for your development, for your testing, for pre-production. So you have only one tenant which will do all this task. Okay, you can see this. This is the test tenant and this is the productive tenant. So one tenant will do all these tasks. So you have to manage all your iFlows and your packages based out of which target system they are hitting to. So let's say in your development, in your test tenant, you are hitting or you are connecting to development system or your test system. So you have to add a correct prefix to the iFlows so that it won't create a confusion. It does create confusion because the name would be same, and if the names are same, you won't be able to identify. You need to go each time in the communication channel to view to check if this is a this interface is for quality or pre-production. So to segregate those things and to keep things simple, we have an option called either give the name, the package name in correct format, means keep the naming standard in such a way that you can identify the packages directly, or you can, we have an option called packages, I'm just forgetting the name. What is that name? Means there you can directly keep a bunch of messages from quality test and development. Anyway, we will see that in later class. Okay, so you have only two tenants for your HCI, and you cannot ask for third or fourth. Only two tenants. Okay. Then you have some web UI URL. Okay. So how to access your HCI from web? You have that URL. Then you have the management URL or the tenant management node URL. We'll understand what tenant management node is and what is worker nodes in next classes. Okay. So as of now, just think of it as how to access this URL via Eclipse. Okay. So it is called management URL. And then you have the runtime URL. Runtime URL, it's nothing but your URL which would be used when you deploy the artifacts to the cloud. Okay. So then you will be generated one URL. So this is that URL they have provided already. We will see in our live scenarios how this runtime URL will be acting. Okay. Then you have the certificate information. Okay. Uh, Certificate information, kind of your private key certificates are already provided in your initial mail from SAP. So this is certificate information, and it's also written, please use the X509 certificate option. How to down means generally there is an option to download the certificate, private key certificate and public key certificate. So in this case, download the X509 type of certificates. So you will see in classes what are the private key certificates, what are public key certificates. So this is the initial information which comes with your mail when you register for your HCI, and this is related to your customer. Okay, if you are the customer of SAP, then you get this mail. But if you are a developer or a partner, you will get this mail. Okay, developer or partner means you just require that HCI tenant to develop a message for a customer or for a sandbox. You will be provided with this mail which contain the details of your tenant, but you won't be provided with the certificate information. Okay, you won't be having the certificate information here. You will be only having the other details like your web UI URL, Eclipse URL, runtime URL, the details, the partner development ID account, and the type of which is the tenant details. So other than that, everything is same, but you won't be having the certificate because you haven't bought or you haven't bought this product. You are using some others HCI to access the HCI tenant and to deploy to develop the message. You can think of it as a sandbox HCI tenant. Okay. So in this case, you will be provided with only one tenant. Okay. So once this is done, you have to do the configuration in HANA account.hana.ondemand.com. You will see after configuring Eclipse, we'll go back to the cockpit of your HANA Cloud platform or cloud platform. So I'm not saving it. Okay. So your plugins are already installed. I'm closing this. To check if the plugins are there or not, go to preferences. Yes, you have the HANA Cloud and platform integration here. Okay. And the URL already taken from my server. So it's there. Yeah, its connection is there. So now I want to configure my Eclipse, means I have to correct my perspective of my Eclipse. As of now, this perspective is the Java perspective, Java EE Eclipse perspective. So I will go to my Windows. I will check, click on the perspective. Okay, click on others, and you have the option called Integration Designer perspective. Okay, just select this perspective. Okay, and you will automatically see a node explorer coming here. I have just selected that perspective. I have a node explorer here. Okay, so this is the standard way of viewing your HCI configuration, your node explorer. All the things are available here itself. If I double click on some iFlows, we will see this iFlow, how this iFlows works, all those things in later classes. So, but just for the reference, I am clicking this one. So the iFlow looks something like this. Okay. Where you have the sender, you have a receiver, you have your means mapping, content modifier, and your request response. Okay, and at the right hand side you have the palettes. Okay, so this is something your events or your different options which are being provided by SAP, which you can use and you can explore. Okay. So this is the steps which you need to perform uh, uh, in your Eclipse to configure it. So just download the Eclipse, install the HCI plugins, and correct the perspective of your Eclipse. So as of now, you guys, you need to do this task only on your local. Okay, you don't need to provide the HCI URL also. Okay, and if you want to create one flow or a package, just for your reference, I'm just moving ahead of the topic, but don't panic, we will do this things again and again. So if in case you don't remember, we will be uh, doing these steps for multiple interfaces. So just as of now, remember, go to new file, go to new, click on integration object, just give any arbitrary name or a project name which is specified for with which you are following the name nomenclature or for that. So for me, I'm giving this type of name. So just click on next, or rather than next, just click on finish. All the other things you will be understanding in our further classes. Don't worry. You will be provided or you will be created this iFlow in front of you. Go to your this palette and start exploring. I won't be telling you anything as of now. You will be understanding these things in later classes in detail. Okay. But if you want, you can do this. You can create one iFlow and start on exploring this. Would be good for you when I teach you these things. Okay, so you would be aware of some of the events by then. Okay. So I'm just deleting this package and coming back to the my. So is it clear for everybody how to configure your Eclipse, or are they still facing issues? If they will, just let me know. I will. I will share. You can share your screen, and I can check what the issue is. Because this is just a simple task, and anybody can do, and you don't need the S user ID or tenant ID of SAP to do this configuration. Hello. Everybody to do by tomorrow this thing, this configuration.
Configuration already we have done it, most of the guys.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Anyway, if others are facing that issue, then let me know. Or else you can create a demo flow or demo project, which I showed you today itself, and try to explore the events and palettes which are being provided or which are there present in HCI. Just explore those. I don't expect anything, but just explore the Eclipse and get familiar with it. Okay.
okay.
So now I'm going to my HANA Cloud uh, Cockpit, platform Cockpit. So there is an URL account.hana.ondemand.com which was specified in the PPT. Okay. So first of all, go to this URL. and the front end it keep changing. So don't worry that it is looking like this and it has changed. So recently it has changed the HANA platform cockpit. Okay, this is not your HCI. First of all, this is not your HCI. This is HANA Cloud Platform Cockpit. Okay, so this is the initial configuration which is required by us before even going to HCI. Okay, so I'm just logging in. If you have the user ID password, okay, for your means if you have got the access of your HCI, so first of all go to this URL account.hana.onlyone.com, okay, cockpit, and then assign roles to your user ID. Okay, so if you are an admin person, okay, let's say if you are an admin person, so in that case you need to assign more, you need to have more users to that tenant, add to the tenant. So you do that stuff here. So go to this uh, productive tenant. In my case I have two HCI account added against my US user ID. So I went to this one. If you have only one, you will be directly taken to this page. So I'm coming directly to this page. I am clicking on the services. First of all, I'm clicking on the services, and you will see there is a list of services which are provided in your HANA Cloud platform. Okay, so let it come to populate. So there are lists. This list contains all the things which I showed you yesterday or day before yesterday. The HANA Cloud platform services. You have the analytics. You have the data storage. You have I told you workflow, the business rules. Okay, where is integration? Yeah, you have the IoT, Internet of Things, and you have the integration. So in integration, you have three things: the cloud integration, the one which you will be using; the connectivity. Connectivity is your cloud, HANA Cloud connector, or your cloud connector, or your API business hub, which I yesterday told you, the API management. So these three things are available in your HANA Cloud, in your integration of your HANA Cloud platform. So if you haven't opted for HANA Cloud integration, if you haven't asked for cloud integration, then this would be not enabled, it would be disabled, and it is not in our hand to enable it. It is, it can be only be activated by SAP themselves. Okay, so you can view in your trial one that if it's available or not. Okay, go back. Okay, so you have this, go to your applications. Okay, and from the left hand side click on subscription. Okay, so under subscription, if you have the access of HCI, you will find this provider sub accounts. Okay, this sub accounts and these two applications. Okay, these two applications are specifically for your HCI. Okay, if you have activated the IoT also, then there will be one more subsequent application for IoT. Okay, so for this account we have not activated any other services. It's only the HANA Cloud Integration or Cloud Integration. Okay, and these two both URLs are for cloud, our HCA. So click on the one situated in below called the TMN. Okay, the name TMN means tenant management node. Don't get confused. We will understand what tenant management node is in tomorrow class. Okay, so just click on the TMN. Okay, and then you have the your SAP will provide you different URL. So this URL, this is for your web UI. Okay, GUI through this URL. If I remove this slash IT space, then the URL left is for my Eclipse configuration. Okay. There is an operation URL which we will look into it. You have the API management URL. Okay. You have the runtime URL, okay, the CXF. Okay. And you have the workflow URL. So as of now, just ignore all of them and just keep this URL aside. Okay, this is the URL. But even if you go to this URL, you will be having an authorization issue. So what is this authorization issue? Authorization issue is you are not, your user ID is not provided with correct or adequate roles to access the HCI. So click on this roles. Okay. And this document is already provided to you, so don't worry where exactly you will be getting the this user role name and all those things. It is already there present in the document which have been provided to you. Okay. So let's say there are 4 rules which are required, 2-3 rules which are required for a user to access the HCI. So first of all, you want the auth group. You have this role, auth group dot integration developer. This is the role which we people require to configure and to create our scenarios. Okay, so auth group dot integration developer. You will see which there are some user ID attached to this one. This is my user ID. Okay, this is assigned. This role is assigned to my user ID also. And I am not the admin of the HANA Cloud, this cloud platform Cockpit. So I don't have access to us. I don't have authorization to add a new user to this auth group or this role. Okay, if you are the admin, you can assign a new user, give the S user ID here, assign a S user ID, and that person, he or she, would be able to access the HANA Cloud Integration tenant. Okay, so this is the initial configuration which is required in the cockpit to access your HCI. So we haven't reached to HCI yet. Okay, this is the initial configuration. Okay, now coming back to the author groups which are present. So developer. Then you have the auth group dot administrator. Okay. So who are administrator? Administrators are the one who can assign users, which I am not able to as of now. Let me check in the other tenant if I have the access or not. Let me check. Let it open. So you are having the administration to assign a role to a user. You can create your iFlows. You can delete those iFlows. You can cancel the messages, which and delete the messages from data store that access is not given to the developer but only the administrator. Okay, you and you can deploy the security content, the certificates to the HCI tenant. Okay, then you have the auth group dot business experts. Business experts are nothing but the functional. So to them you will be providing the monitoring rules of your HCI, which means they can only view the messages which are been flowing and monitor the I flows, nothing else. They cannot deploy the I flows, they cannot delete the data store, they cannot cancel message, they can only view the messages which are being processed through our HCI. Okay. Then you have the auth group dot read only. So this read only enables you to connect to the tenant cluster, okay, and to display nodes and node property as well as monitoring. So it's kind of same for the business experts, but business experts can view the integration flows also. Okay. Then you are the system developer. Developer task is typically required to support cases by SAP experts. Okay. So when we raise the SAP node and they ask for access of our HCI, so what we do, we provide auth-group.system developer to their user ID, and they are able to view the HCI tenant and do the debugging from there. So it's typically the SAP consultant auth group, and it's not for us. So for us, it is integration dot developer, auth group integration dot developer, or integration auth group dot administrator, based on what authorization on what level you are there in the organization. Okay. So here, yes, I am the admin here, so I can assign the user ID to a role. So let's say UD. So, so this one, let's say this is the one. So these are the predefined roles which are being provided by SAP. We can create our own roles also here. Let's say I'm writing, creating a new role. So new, and click on save. So there are 49 predefined rules, and then you can create your own rules based out of what access do you want to provide to your user. So based on that, you provide the access to your user or yourself. Okay. And don't forget, if you want to monitor the messages, okay, monitor the payload, if you want to view the payload at runtime, just add EBS messaging roles to your ID. Okay, EBS messaging is again a standard role which you can assign to your ID, and once you have that EBS messaging assigned, then only you will be able to view the payload of your message. Else, payload monitoring or message means payload is the actual content of the message which is transferred from one system to another system. So if that payload EBS messaging role is assigned to you, then only you will be able to see the content of the message. Else you will be able to only do the monitoring itself. Only monitoring means only viewing that the message has got successful, or it has been processed or not. Those things would be done if EBS messaging is not there. If EBS messaging is there, you can view the payload also. It's taking time. Anyway, we will see in tomorrow's class or later to create a new role. Generally, it is not required. Okay, this creation of new roles. Okay. So, any questions till now for this? Means how to assign a user ID, uh, where exactly we assign the roles to a user so that you can access HCI. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, Vinod.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So once you have the adequate roles against your ID, go to that same URL. Which was the URL? I told you this was the URL. This is the IT space URL. Just click on this URL. it will again ask for your S user ID and password. In my case, it's not asking because I have installed the passport certificate to my browser, so it automatically logins to the browser to my HANA Cloud tenant. Okay. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. So let this open 1 second. And it's working very slow today, the connection. Anyway, hello. Hey, you're there, na?
Yes, Anat.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you are there. You guys are. Okay.
Sanat, can you just go to cockpit 1 second? You just closed it.
Sorry.
Can you just go to cockpit?
Yes. One second. Let it open. Yes.
Okay, in that cockpit, so go to home.
This home.
Yeah. Yeah, that home. Sanat, I can't hear you, Sanat. Can you hear me? Anybody can hear me?
Yeah, Arvind, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, Shankar, I'm able to hear you, Shankar.
Okay, I'm not able to hear Sanat's voice.
Sanat may be logged out, maybe.
Yeah, he joined again.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Sanat.
Yeah. Sorry, my connection went off. So you were saying go to home. Okay, my screen is on. And then
Yes, yes. Go to home. So when any organization get a subscription, so you'll have a two instance. One is test and production instance, correct?
sorry. Yes.
So from there you need to go for the services. How I just wanted to see the navigation from there.
No, no, see, in my case, we are, this is not the customer access, it is the developer access, or you can see the partner access. So here we have got only one tenant only. So from the, 1 second, if Bharat can give me the access. Bharat, can you give me the desktop sharing access? Bharat? Hmm. So in that navigation, in that you don't, if you have the access of, if you are going through the customer access, then you will be having the test and production. But we are the partners, so we are having only one tenant access. Okay, so in that case, we won't be given the test production access, and I won't be able to show you where exactly we will have the production tenant and test tenant. But
No, no, I just wanted to understand the path because right now you are in P034 tenant management node, right? So
yes, sir.
before that, there is one thing called productive, PA productive. Another one is Capgemini services. Another one is
Hmm.
Europe route. Then home. So what does that
So
means Europe route is?
no, no. Under Euro means my HCI is from the SAP data center of Europe. Okay, so that is why it is called the Europe road. Means the under the Europe data my database, Europe database. SAP has some data centers across globe. You have the Europe, you have this US, you have the uh, South African. So for my tenant, it is under the Europe belt. So under my Europe belt, there are two sub accounts. One is my both the accounts are for my different companies, Capgemini and my other company, okay, prior company. So under that Capgemini, I have again one two subtask. One is called my HCI and one is called my apps development. So in HCI, I have one tenant itself. If I would have been uh, the customer, then I would have the two sub processes, the uh, test tenant process and the production tenant processing. Okay. So in my case, it's only one. Okay. So we will see tomorrow. I guess Bharat is not there. We will see tomorrow. We will pick up the same steps on tomorrow, and also the discover screen and understanding what exactly the discover design and monitoring the screen looks like for our HCI. Okay.
Okay. So
I
if
guess
my
it.
understanding is correct, so first is your data center name, then your client or your customer service name. It means
Correct.
that that is going to be your whole virtual machine name, right? For example, if your tenant, if your they are going to create a virtual machine for your customer, right? So that is going to be your service name. Then
Yes.
your application called HCI, PA product, and HCA probably something else. It can be a test or something. Then
No, no, no,
underneath
no,
there
no,
is
no, no, no,
uh,
no. One second, one second. Under services, you are having different services. You might be having the IoT service. You might be having the business process logics. So under that, you will be selecting the HCI services. Okay. So under that HCI services, you will be having your two tenants. Okay.
got it,
One
got
for
it, I got
and
it.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
in
the
my
TNM is nothing but your tenant management node. That is what your after services. That is going to be your tenant management node.
correct. So which
Okay,
tenant management you want to log into, it would be specified there. Let's
got
say your product tenant management node or test tenant management node. It